thanks for the introduction. Basically, I drove a lot of cars in my life, Formula 1, LMP1 prototypes, and Formula E, which I helped to create in 2012 together with Alejandro. Still drive, I'm racing for Audi, and I use the VI Grade actually simulator in Audi Sport, which is so everything that was said in the slide before, it's very interesting because I spend a lot of hours there, and I complain a lot, but now I understand how complex it is. So when we started Formula E, basically the idea is that, look, the future is electric, we need a motorsport series to build this technology. Now, next step, more or less everybody here agrees, I would expect, that the next frontier is automation of these electric vehicles or automation of vehicles. So we need to build a racing series which could have autonomous technologies in it. But there is a lot of challenges, of course. So I will tell you just in a very brief nutshell. I think for this audience, we could go much more technical, and probably I'm not the right person to do so. But I'm going to, in a nutshell, explain what Roborace is and what we're doing and what have we achieved and how can we make excitement out of. Future is all about autonomous electric cars. 1.3 million people die every year. One of the reasons we think autonomous driving should be pushed forward is because a lot of people die in road accidents. Automation can be much safer, so we can save a lot of people. So autonomous cars are safer, they are greener, and they are cheaper. This was a study made by Bosch in the US. The cost of a kilometer driven with autonomous cars and with conventional taxis. So basically for everybody in the industry, either they develop autonomous cars or they're gonna go out of the business. So that's actually very clear for everyone. This is an Audi prototype without even driving, without steering, without pedals, level 5, which is still far away, but it's coming. Everybody's putting a lot of effort, a lot of investment into autonomous. And the key point is that motorsport, so what I've been doing now for 25 years of my life, I'm 34, has always been at the edge of technological development. And we are struggling right now because technology development in motorsport are not correlating completely with conventional development, with road-relevant development. So how a multi-million double hybrid Formula 1 engine will see the future on the roads? Okay, maybe in some super hyper sports car, but not really on the conventional way. How we're doing Formula E is, of course, making the development of the drivetrain. But what about the rest? What about driver aids? What about sensors? What about everything else? And then I go back to why motorsport was created. So basically, since they made this, it was called horseless carriages, yeah? In 1894. I think when they built the second of those, they already started racing. And what motorsport did, they did two things very important. So motorsport does two things very important for the general consensus. For the public, it creates trust. So if they see cars going at 300 kph, they are confident that those cars are built in the right way. They seem as fast, as a marketing platform, as a status symbol in some countries. For the industry, it's a laboratory. So we are trying to, with Roborace, address these 2 points. So we want to insert autonomous technology into motorsport. So Denis Sverdlov, which was the founder of Roborace, I was his advisor at that time. He said, we must come up with something autonomous. Let's buy something that exists on the market. And nothing existed. So there was not a full, let's say, extreme autonomous platform that we could use as Roborace to promote the racing. So we had to build it from scratch. So the two cars you will see it was done by Roborace because there was not a fully usable platform with fully electric autonomous cars that could reach the specs that we wanted to. So we had to build it from scratch. We hired a very, very famous designer, Daniel Simon, futuristic design, and said, design your dream car and we'll adapt the engineering out of it. So he came and he designed Robocar. So this Robocar is a fully autonomous platform, so driver cannot drive it. It has to be fully autonomous. It has 4 electric motors, 1 on each wheel, has a floor battery of 60 kilowatt hour. It has 1,200 horsepower, so more or less 1 horsepower per kilo, a little bit more. Car weighs about 950 kilos. And it was fully operational. So from day one, we are starting testing with this car, driving up and down. We'll show you a video soon to explain what we're doing. And since 2016, this car was being tested and developed. So there was no hardware available. There was no base software available. LiDARs, they never operated at 300 kph. We found there's a lot of problems with the sensors, with the calculations, with the vehicle dynamic controls, with localization on tracks. There was a lot of things to be developed for us. And we're still finding a lot of problems to operate at those speeds up to now. But in 2016, everything was much more expensive, it was much more complicated. So we had to develop the hardware, we had to develop the software, the base software, for the Robocar. So this is the current livery of Robocar. We have 4 of them built up, and we use Robocar currently for, it's our concept view of the future. So we use it for events, we use it to develop the technology. But that's where I came in. Motorsport and, let's say, Roborace. I think having an artificial intelligence driver, having an AI driver, working together, at least at this stage, with a human driver would be the best solution for Roborace at this stage. So in 2017, September, Dennis asked me to be the CEO and to lead the company. And I decided to change a bit the route that we were having with Roborace and build a car which actually humans could drive, could teach the algorithm, and could be compared and could join forces together with the autonomous in racing environments for 2 reasons. First, to this car was very difficult for us to explain to people that the car was autonomous. General public still struggles to understand what autonomous means. So when we put this car out, people would say, but where is the remote control? And I spent the next 5 minutes explaining there is no remote control. And then the car would go around and say, yeah, but who's controlling it? I said, there is no remote control. Nobody is this algorithm controlling it. And then when we created DevBot, which is this one, which you could put a driver inside, and the driver could drive, and then you could take the driver out of the car, and the car could go by itself. It was very clear to everybody that that was a car controlled by a human, and there was a car, and when the human was out of the car, there was nobody. The car was controlling itself. So I decided to go for at least season alpha, which is this year, and beta, which are experimental seasons for Roborace, with a car that could be controlled by human and by algorithms in any way, and the combination of both. So my dream view, we are still not in this stage right now, but my dream view for at least end of season alpha, beginning of season beta, is have a race, a motorsport race in which the first part of the race, the driver is driving the car. The sensors are learning from the driver. The localization algorithm is scanning the track. The GPS antennas, we have 2 in the car, are building up the model of the track in real time. So in the first part of the race, while the human is controlling the car, the algorithm is learning. And on the pit stop, the driver jumps out, and then the car has to finish the race by itself. So it's the interaction, it's the ultimate interaction between the human and the machine. And almost like teammates, almost like in Le Mans 24 hours, which I raced many times, you have 3 different drivers, each one drives about 2 or 3 hours. I want to see that happen in Le Mans. In Le Mans, in the future, you could see maybe a 24-hour race in which is half of the race done by a human and half of the race the car doing it by itself. I think that's a very interesting, exciting prospect that we can create, because then we have a human element, we have a robot element, they are working together and people are actually there. On top of it, cars are made to transport people. So for me, it makes a lot of sense that the car can fit a human inside. So although we can, and DevBot, and so just sometimes I jump straight forward because I'm running out of time already. Both DevBot and the Robo car, they are exactly the same. They run in the same systems, same algorithms, so you can translate one to another very easy. This is just a platform for teams, like you see now here in Season Alpha. We have 3 teams. We have University of Munich, which is the middle car. We have a rival, which is the black and white car. And in this race, we had the number 9 car. The number 9 car is an open source car that University of Pisa was doing in the first event we had. So the teams can develop their own. So the teams in Roborace, we want the teams to join us. We want to have 10 teams in Championship Season 1, which starts in 2021. We want each team to develop their own hardware and their own software, and the team owns the IP. Roborace provides the platform. Roborace provides the stage for integration of simulation, integration of autonomous systems, hardware in electric, everything, in an exciting, viable marketing platform, in scenarios that you don't need to worry also about going extreme. That's why motorsport is for. So yeah, this was actually a race. The first ever race happened in Monte Blanco in Spain 2 weeks ago. Second one is happening this week. And this is not a CGI. This is actually the car driving itself at night on the track. We have all these very cool features with light. We have a loudspeaker in the car. You can program your own sound. There is a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go into detail, otherwise you can come to me after if you want. So we have these 2 cars. We have 6 DevBots on our factory. We have 4 Robo cars being tested and being operated, all by us at this stage. And we think that it's very cool that we are creating the first sport ever to combine human and artificial intelligence together. We want to see excitement. I come from motorsport. What we live for is passion and excitement. And this is what we want to create, how we adapt that with autonomous technology. I forgot something which is quite cool. We want to engage also, we want the people to participate. So with autonomous car, you could create a completely new formal environment. The vision of racing changes. So actually we are developing right now, it's not ready, a system that the public or somebody can actually throw a virtual dog on the racetrack. And the car, while racing, has to avoid it, or if it hits it, get some points, or lose some points, or lose some speed. You could create any type of environment you think. So we want the people to engage also in the races. So we could create anything that it's exciting. And actually we are doing right now with this situation with the virtual dog and virtual people and actually virtual trucks. One of our qualifying system, very likely to have virtual cars on the racetrack. So the robot not only has to go around the corners at high speed and has to perform, it has to avoid these virtual vehicles on track. So I'm going to show you a video from last year in Rome, together with Formula E. We put DevBot to drive. So this was just a short clip of, we've done many events together with Formula E. We are not part of the Formula E family, we have our own events. But many of them has been successful. The most difficult part of racing street tracks was actually the time that we had to prepare everything was very, very short. So for us, circuits, it's much more fitable. We can really make much more progress on that. So we're going to use more circuits. And this was just after, in July 2018, we did the first ever Goodwood autonomous uphill run in fully autonomous mode. And yeah, this is basically it's Robo car going completely unassisted. And actually we had a big challenge there because GPS was not working. So this run was all based in computer vision and was there was a small struggle, but our team managed to find a very good compromise and make it work. So it was also our first, let's say, public run on pure computer vision, non-GPS based path planning. And of course, it's still restricted on its technical capacities, the car, but it's successful running. At the moment, every 3 months, I drive against the car to see how we're evolving with the algorithm. And at the moment, to a professional driver, we are about 6 to 7% slower. And we are already much quicker than an average driver. So if you imagine that we were about 20% slower 1.5 years ago, the progress has been quite sharp. And it's very interesting that I'm starting to see some stuff that the algorithm is doing that I could learn by myself. So now there is a few points, for example, on the data, then the algorithm is using the brake pressure in a different way, or the steering angle in a different way. That's still not faster than what I do, because I think to reach a level of professional driving will take a little bit of time, but already gives hints. And I think this algorithm could be exported in the future to hypercars, so you have your personal driver coach at all times in the cars of the future. So this is our latest video, and last one I already exploded the time. So this is Season Alpha, the first race in Spain last year. That was a resume of what we did.
Stand by. 3, 2, 1. Start. Robo confirming with TUM. Are you ready?
We were born ready.
We are enabling blue light.
Great job, everyone. That was awesome.
Roborace.
Well, that's it. Thank you.